Hey, what's up YouTube? thyAshes here bringing you another video, and today I'm going to be talking about a question that I get asked a lot in my Ask Ashes videos, and that is, how do I get involved into Gears of War esports or just esports in general? Now, I was planning on uploading a different video today, but I decided to talk about this because I have seen it asked several times over my last few Ask Ashes videos, as well as just multiple times in my DMs from people who are wanting to get involved in Gears esports or wanting to get involved in esports in general and just kind of need some guidance along the way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience getting involved in Gears of War esports. And that being said, my experience is kind of out of the norm. And I did get very lucky with my basically attempt to find a team. So I competed in Gears of War a long time ago, Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2. And I went to League of Legends for the majority of the time, but since Gears of War 3 release date and Gears of War UE's release date. So I had most of my experience in terms of developing myself both as a person and as a player, but also as a manager and a coach in League of Legends. And that kind of knowledge and skill set I brought back to me when I started looking at Gears of War 3 near the end and Gears of War UE. And for those of you who don't know, I actually did work with Team Fury, which is now Team Envy, back before Kenny joined the team, and they had Kirill's as their fourth, and then I left that team right around the same time that they picked up Kenny. So that was actually the first team that I ever worked with in Gears of War as a manager. And I was interested in bringing coaches into Gears of War at that time in a different regard. In fact, Fran might even remember the talks that I had with him and Kirill's about it at that time. And now it's a completely different scene, and it's awesome to see how much Gears of War has grown just in the last year and a half, 2 years. So when I decided to fully enter into Gears of War when Gears of War UE came out, I really just got lucky. I saw a team that needed help or was going to need help with how well they were doing and the potential that they had, and their age being all very young. And that was in the team known as Glory, with Lava, Solars, Explosive, and Mental. And I contacted Mental on Twitter and basically told him my skill set in terms of being a manager, and that I wanted to help them with getting a sponsor and making sure that they didn't get taken advantage of. And they were willing enough to give me the chance to join on board. And that's obviously a very unlikely situation to happen, where I send a random DM and a team is very welcoming and accepting of my help and allowing me to join them in such a way and become part of that family, and then have a team that's grown to be so successful and so dominant and sticks together. So obviously that's not going to happen to everybody, but the point there that I want to express, it's about taking chances, but it's about being smart with taking your chances. I didn't approach them saying, hey, can you do me this favor? I didn't approach them after they were the number one team in the game. I didn't approach them, looking for a handout. I offered them potential help that I thought they could benefit. And if they didn't need it, they didn't need it. But I was lucky in finding out that they were willing to accept it. And at the time, I didn't know how good they were going to be. I just saw a potential there and thought that they were going to be a way bigger than they were at the time. And arguably, they were still one of the top teams at the time. But Gears of War UE was very new. The team was very new. So nobody really knew. Everyone was all about Fury and how successful they were because they were being so dominant with the launch tournament that they did and show matches that they did for UE. So that was my story. And to you guys out there, don't be afraid to take the chance and to message people, but don't do it in a way where you're asking for a handout or a favor. Do it in a way where you feel confident that you deserve a chance. And if they turn you down, that's the end of the story, but at least you tried, right? And maybe even get a reflection as to why they don't want to play with you, and take that as a learning experience of something that you can work on. When you get declined from a job in the real world, you don't cuss them out on Twitter and tell them they made the biggest mistakes of their life. You take that as a learning experience. You hope for feedback for your resume or for your skill set and why you didn't actually get that job. Put that into esports, because this is becoming a job, whether you guys want to agree or not, whether you call it video games or not. There are millions of dollars on the line. There are salaries being paid. This is becoming a job. The other thing I want to talk about is for those of you who are players who want to build a team or want to join a team and don't quite know the right avenue, or maybe you're just a player who loves Gears of War and are interested in getting more involved in the esports side. So my suggestion to you would be to go to the Esports Gears of War Twitter, which is at Esports Gears, and in the bio section of their Twitter profile, there's actually a link to a Discord server. And what is on this Discord server is basically a bunch of chat rooms, and specifically there is one that's titled North American Players. So this is a great place for you if you're in that region, or there's even European, Asian Pacific, PC, there's everything European, Latin American. I think I said one of those twice. But anyways, there's a section for every kind of player or every region of player to go in there and look for a team. And so that is a great tool to use to find people who are like-minded and want to compete. There's also the Gears of War forums. There's also the Game Battles forums, which aren't quite as successful in terms of finding a team, but they're a way to get noticed perhaps. And then you also have Twitter, which is also being a tool that's used for people to, tweet that they're a free agent and looking for a team. So use these tools and these assets available to you to try to find a team. And what you want to do is you want to find a team of people who are like-minded, who have the same goals as you, who want to succeed and achieve the same things as you. You don't want people who are playing competitive just for the shits and giggles while you are playing to take down OpTic. You want people who have the same mindset as you. Otherwise, you're going to run into troubles down the road. And this is where I usually tell people that playing with friends is almost a better way to start, because if you play with friends who you already mesh with outside of the game, then the grinding part kind of becomes a little bit easier until you guys either reach a plateau and you have to make some sort of change, or you guys just keep growing together and it becomes more and more experience for you. So that's kind of my main suggestion. But if you don't have that, obviously go use these esports Discord, esports Gears Discord, or Twitter, or the forums, and that'll be your most successful places in finding a team. Now, for those of you who want to manage or coach, this is a completely different thing, and it's still not widely accepted in Gears of War. So patience is key, and understanding is key, and the willingness to learn and adapt is key. So if you are going to be a coach or a manager in esports Gears, or Gears of War Esports, I should say, obviously you can still use the Discord server, but you want to make sure that you have a skill set that will actually benefit a team. You should not be looking for a free ride to the top. You should be looking to help a team become more successful than they are. So when I approached my guys, I told them what my skill set was and what I would help them do. And over time, that obviously expanded because I learned what they needed and I moved more into a coaching role, and I became way more of a coach with management, kind of a little bit less, because that's just where I could best use my skill set. And based on the organizations we were in and whatnot, a manager wasn't as necessary as was a coach. And so that's kind of how the balance found it. And obviously, I still take feedback from my team as often as they're willing to give it, so that I can continue to improve and make everything more efficient for the team in general. It's not just about me teaching them and criticizing them and helping them improve. It's about them giving me feedback so that I can improve. Because as long as we both keep improving, there's no limit. If I keep improving my coaching skills and keep finding ways using those new skills to teach them, then they're going to keep improving. So it's mutually beneficial. And as a staff member, as a manager and a coach, you need to be willing to know and understand and learn what your players need and your team needs, and adapt to those, and then apply whatever skills you need to learn to those needs. So a lot of coaches and people who want to get into coaching ask me how to do so. Study teams. If you get a tryout for a team or you join a team as a coach, learn how your players learn. Learn the personalities of your players and what makes them tick and what makes them feel inspired and what makes them pissed off, and all of the little nuances about your players, so that you can best cater what you need to convey to them. Players need to get yelled at and stern, disciplined type of coaching. Some players need to be supported and nourished and told that everything will be okay and a pat on the back. Some players need their hands held. Some players need to be shoved off the cliff and let them figure it out their own way. Whatever the case may be, you don't want to be doing a blanket style of coaching towards any team you work with. You want to be customizing how you work with your team to best support that team. So, again, this comes down to a lot of study on your own part and willingness to learn. So don't misconstrue that coaches don't learn. Coaches learn just as much as players. It's about your willingness to do so. Otherwise, you basically become useless after an amount of time, and that's not good for you or the team. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. I know it's a little bit random, but it's a question I get asked a lot, so I figured I'd dedicate a whole video to it. Obviously, in the comments down below, if you have any more questions on this subject, feel free to ask them. And of course, as always, make sure to click the subscribe button down below, even though it's late and I'm fumbling over my words. I really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next one.